One fine day, my spouse inquired of me, "Hey, what's our financial standing in that vault?" I responded with a light chuckle, contemplating, likely in the vicinity of $500,000 in total. The following day, upon returning home, I was greeted by a signed divorce document neatly placed on the living room table, accompanied by the conspicuous absence of both my husband and the vault. My name is Helen, a 58-year-old industrious homemaker who continues to dedicate herself to her occupation. You see, my passion revolves around the art of frugality. In my youth, my mother initiated a savings account for me, instilling the belief that depositing funds in a bank account fosters growth, vividly reflected in the numbers of my passbook. The concept fascinated me, leading me to initiate modest deposits, starting with a mere $1, relishing the gradual augmentation. Witnessing the accrual of a few cents in interest each year was a delightful surprise to my youthful self. Nurturing a penchant for financial affairs and their intricate workings, I eventually embarked on a career as a financial planner, offering counsel on asset management. A college acquaintance approached me one day, detailing the dire straits of an old childhood friend named Mark, grappling with significant financial troubles due to familial loss. Eager to assist, I met with Mark and my college friend. Mark, with his charming countenance and a winsome smile, divulged his struggle with a penchant for gambling inherited from his parents. Despite his appealing exterior, Mark had shouldered his parents' debts, a predicament that left him visibly troubled. Compelled by compassion, I willingly offered my guidance. Reflecting on those events, it's conceivable that I harbored a latent affection for Mark. Little did I anticipate that this benevolent act would set the stage for a series of unforeseen tribulations. Nonetheless, I advised Mark to consolidate his debts, mitigating monthly payments and providing a semblance of financial stability. Shortly thereafter, Mark and I found ourselves romantically involved. In the face of dissenting opinions from acquaintances, we chose to marry, envisioning it as a collective effort to confront Mark's challenges. Despite my commendable income, Mark's earnings were predominantly directed towards settling his debts. To curb further escalation, I ensured he severed ties with his parents, supplementing his finances with a monthly allowance of $500. As Mark endeavored to sever familial ties, his parents vehemently opposed, unleashing accusations of ingratitude. Undeterred, Mark asserted his independence, returning to me with a palpable sense of relief. The burden of his in-laws' debts, ceaselessly revisited, had finally lifted. Shortly thereafter, we welcomed our son, Kevin, who inherited his father's good looks and became my source of pride. However, he also seemed to absorb Mark's lack of discipline and indecisiveness. Despite the challenges of navigating predatory lenders, loan sharks, and borrowing from unsuspecting friends for gambling pursuits, I maintained control. After 23 years of resilience, we successfully reduced Mark's debt to approximately $10,000, nearing full repayment. It was at this juncture that Mark received a distressing call from his parents, urgently pleading for assistance due to his father's sudden collapse. Mark, grappling with the unexpected turn of events, left work abruptly and messaged me with a poignant admission. "Helen, my father has collapsed." I broke our promise and went to see my parents. "I'm at the hospital now. I'm sorry. I extend my sincere apologies for the distressing news about your father's health. How is he faring now?" "He had a minor stroke. His life isn't in immediate danger, but he shouldn't overexert himself. Both my parents are feeling low, and I wish to stay with them for a while." "Is that acceptable?" "Certainly, dear. Your presence will undoubtedly bring them comfort. Would you like me to accompany you?" "No need, love. If you're preoccupied with work and considering their past behavior, I think it's best if you stay. I've provided Mark with some extra money for hospital visits. They might struggle with the hospital fees. Mark has been visiting them frequently, usually taking $200 to $300 each time. It amounts to around $1,000 to $2,000 a month, but I've let it slide for now. A year has elapsed since my father-in-law's collapse, and my in-laws have aged. It seems they seek solace and support. Meanwhile, my perpetual hobby remains the diligent practice of saving money. One day, I retrieved my bank book from the vault, grinning. Mark, typically disinterested, stared at me and queried, "Hey, how much money do we have in that bank account that you always look at so happily?" I responded nonchalantly, "It's about $500,000 now." However, the next morning, I completed a divorce form, leaving it in the living room, and both Mark and the safe were gone. As I savored my breakfast, a subtle smile adorned my face. I knew Mark had set his sights on the vault's contents, intending to abscond with the entire treasury. The mental image of him attempting this feat nearly prompted laughter. In our abode resides a black cat named Luna. A pet camera captures Luna's delightful antics, serving as a therapeutic respite during my lunch breaks. Observing Luna's adorable demeanor consistently brightens my day. On one such occasion, I tuned into the camera and discovered an inconceivable gathering in our living room. My in-laws and Mark engaged in an extraordinary conversation. They showered Mark with compliments, praising our dwelling and expressing pride in his apparent financial success. Mark, playing along, mentioned his meager monthly allowance of $500 and conveyed a distorted narrative of financial hardship. My in-laws, evidently swayed, consoled him, berating me for purportedly exploiting his income. Mark, seemingly oblivious to my efforts in repaying his debts, concurred with their sentiments. I pondered the perplexing shift in their perspective, wondering if they had conveniently forgotten the financial challenges Mark faced due to his parents' debts. In the past, Mark grappled with debt, rendering it challenging to make ends meet, and I diligently worked to alleviate his burden. Now, despite our collective efforts in reducing his debt to a mere $10,000, a cloud of uncertainty looms over our relationship. Observing this distressing spectacle, it appears that once again he's falling prey to manipulation by his parents, and my hard-earned savings are on the verge of being compromised. The scene before me evoked a profound sense of pathos, prompting tears to cascade down my face as I clutched my phone. For years, I diligently set aside my living expenses from Mark's income, primarily channeling funds to settle his debts. Additionally, I offered him a monthly allowance of $500 from my own earnings. Despite repeatedly explaining this financial arrangement to Mark, it seems that he has wholly forgotten the sacrifices made over the past 23 years. The weight of sadness and pity envelops me, and my heart aches as if submerged in a torrent of tears. It feels as though I am on the brink of disintegration, but amidst this emotional turmoil, I ensured to record the disheartening conversation and forwarded the data to my son. That day, leaving work early due to overwhelming emotions, I sought solace at my usual bar, drowning my sorrows in copious amounts of alcohol. In a moment of vulnerability, I bared my soul to the bartender, who offered gentle words of comfort. Why grieve for someone who has done nothing but wrong you? There's no need to live for them. Live for yourself. His words resonated, eclipsing the intoxication and love I harbored for my husband. I expressed my gratitude and envisioned sharing a more uplifting encounter in the future. Returning home, a newfound determination surged within me. In my study, I contemplated how I could retrieve the bank book concealed within that vault. The plan seemed elusive, but I resolved to unveil their deceptive machinations and make them rue underestimating me. As the evidence-gathering process unfolded, I meticulously scrutinized the pet camera daily. To my dismay, the ugly truth emerged. My husband was engaging in an affair, bringing a young woman home during his purported work hours. Luna, our once adorable cat, now cowered in fear and refused to appear on camera. My precious moments of relaxation were tarnished, and betrayal coursed through my veins. In an unexpected twist, I activated the pet camera during work hours, only to witness my in-laws discussing their nefarious plan with Mark. Their malicious intentions included seizing the entire vault, oblivious to its weight and complexity. My husband, although handsome, demonstrated a lack of astuteness. A silent vow to drag them into the depths of despair renewed within me. They envisioned using the money from the bank book for a family casino outing, all while plotting my downfall. Unbeknownst to them, I had been recording the entire scheme, unfazed by any remaining traces of sorrow or anger. I resolved to turn the tables on them, showing them the consequences of their greed. The fateful day arrived when they inquired about the funds in the passbook on the vault. I stood ready, fueled by determination, prepared to confront their avarice and deliver the retribution they so rightfully deserved. Currently, there's approximately $500,000 in the passbook inside the vault. The following day, upon returning home, I discovered a signed divorce document in the living room, signaling the disappearance of both my husband and the vault. A subtle smirk graced my face during breakfast as I swiftly took action, filing the divorce papers and promptly informing my son, Kevin. In a nonchalant tone, I informed Kevin, "Your father has finally absconded with the vault. It's unbelievable that he managed to carry it. It's incredibly heavy." Kevin suggested that it might be time to sever ties with his father and inquired if everything within the vault was taken. I revealed that I had already transferred all the money to online banking, rendering the passbook essentially worthless. I added, the most valuable thing might have been the safe itself, given its weight. I'd filed the divorce papers, and now I'm contemplating filing a police report. Kevin, somewhat exasperated, suggested hiring a lawyer, prompting me to reach out to one through my private investigator contact. Subsequently, I handed over the pet camera recording to both the police and the lawyer, patiently awaiting the unfolding events. My ex-husband's frantic call revealed his dismay, accusing me of trickery and demanding to know the whereabouts of the $500,000. Unfazed, I asserted, "From now on, communicate through my lawyer." Blocking his number, I reported the incident to the police and shared the recording with my lawyer. Gratifyingly, karma swiftly played its part. The police caught my ex-husband shortly after, and despite being his first offense, he spent a few days in custody. His parents, however, were released with a stern warning. Disturbingly, my ex-husband returned to the house, attempting to reconcile by downplaying the incident as a small prank. Unyielding, I called the police again, and within 10 minutes, he was once more taken away. Subsequently, I instructed my lawyer to initiate the process of obtaining a restraining order. Additionally, I sought legal recourse, suing for emotional distress resulting from infidelity. The lawyer pragmatically noted that substantial financial compensation from his financially strained family might be unlikely, but the pursuit of justice prevailed over monetary concerns. Without a doubt, I will be seeking alimony. The reason behind his brazen break-in was apparently his rejection by his mistress, coupled with a desire to reconcile with me. His former lover promptly transferred $10,000 in alimony before seemingly disappearing, indicating that their relationship dissolved along with the money. It's clear that when the funds run dry, so does the purported love. My underpaid ex-husband, burdened with $10,000 in debt and ensnared by his gambling-addicted parents, appears to be grappling with the challenges of daily life. According to my lawyer, he now resides in a dated single-room apartment without a bath, enduring constant quarrels among the trio. My ex-husband, on the brink of retirement and entangled with the police, was subsequently terminated from his job. The elderly parents-in-law, engaged in cleaning jobs, are barely scraping by. Despite my ex-husband working 3 part-time jobs, their compulsive gambling habits render their financial gains ephemeral. In response to his plea for reduced alimony, My lawyer conveyed a firm message: no reduction. The directive was clear: stay away from her, and if genuine remorse exists, express it through financial means. Had my ex-husband remained with me, he had plans to eradicate the remaining $10,000 in debt before retirement. However, swayed by the persuasions of his gambling-addicted parents-in-law, he succumbed to their influence. In retrospect, how misguided. The accumulation of my $500,000 reflects a lifetime of savings initiated from a tender age. The act of updating the bank book with even the smallest changes has been a source of joy for me. Deciding to embark on a new chapter, I am now relishing a relaxed life with my black cat, Luna. Occasionally, my son visits, sharing tales of his girlfriend. It's time for a personal renaissance, and the prospect of acquiring a new vault, one too large to be carried by a person, is on the horizon. With Luna by my side, I find myself in the happiest phase of my life.